All right, morning guys. Good to see you all. Good to see you all upright this morning. Go ahead and grab you a cup of coffee and I'll let you know what we're on to here for this episode of Coffee with Buckskin Dave. So what I've been doing, I went ahead and I made I inlet one of these escutcheons in here in with iron, but I've decided to do them in silver. I think they'll look a lot better. So I'll show you. I think the silver ones will look a little better done in with a dark background. However, I didn't have any made of silver. So I cut one out and I got a lot of this plate silver, so I'm going to cut 4 of them out. Well, 3 of them now. I got one cut out. So I'm going to get those in. I'm going to get this entry pipe on. And this is a steel or an iron nose cap, and this is made by Ted Cash. Ted Cash makes a lot of stuff. You all probably know him. And this one's iron, but I got one coming that's made from silver, and it's small, but it has enough meat that I can open it up for this fatter barrel. This actually is made from a actual 1800s Hawken nose cap. The pattern's the same. So I think it'll fit real nice on here. So I have that on the way. The rest of the parts that I got coming are for the other gun. So I'm going to work on this stuff. Oh, and I got a piece of material for a toe plate. So I'm going to work on these because these are a real pain in the butt. So I'm going to work on them first. So sit you down with a cup of coffee and let's get her done. Oh, the other thing I did fix too, remember on the last episode we were talking about the sight being a little bit off because the barrel was off. I turned the barrel back just a little bit, and what it is, I just tightened it so tight that I actually went past my halfway mark. I just brought it back a little bit. I mean, it's not loose by any means, but I just brought it back a little, and that straightened that out, and I think that'll be just fine. And then one other thing I want to do with it before I go too much further too is strap it down to a table and pop a couple caps through it and make sure it's not going to blow up. No sense doing all this work if it's just going to break. So that's where we are. Stick around. Let's cut one of these babies out. These things are tedious. Fortunately, this German silver cuts pretty easy. It's pretty soft. So, let's see here. Gotta keep some water by. This gets hot fast. Little part. This silver cut pretty quick. It's hot pretty quick. I have another one in front of it. I just used that fan or that belt sander to knock the corners off. Now I have another one in front of it, and I'll just file it by hand down to the same size as that other one, and then I'll cut the holes in the slot. Yeah. The whole idea is they're not going to be exact. They're not going to be exact to each other, and they're not going to be exact by themselves. And I don't want them to be. That's the whole idea of made one at a time or made by hand. I want them to all have a little tiny bit of that little slot that the key's going to fit in by just drilling some small holes. Whoop. And hopefully not have it try to run off on you either. And then square it up with a file. So, then make a couple of small holes. Put one over here. So, there we go. This thing giving me a little bit of a turn. Make sure you get the drill bit that's smaller than the finished square, because you don't want to make this hole any much bigger than you have to. Because then it won't look as good. It won't look as finished bend in it. I've countersunk my holes, and it just needs a little bend across the center, not much, and that's all. It's so slight that just put the top of your vise across the holes, just give it a slight tap. Okay, so we have our piece, and just set it over there, kind of center it, and then I make a mark with a pencil with these. Whoops. And a real sharp pencil gets my marker right where I want it. And then I'll use a razor knife and I'll cut inside of that and then get it cleaned out of there. We can push that down, that key down out of the way. Fitting pretty good. Start some holes for the and then don't make the mistake that I have made in the past and using too short of screws on these. Too short of screws will just end up being a problem. So we're going to put that in there. I had to sink this one a little deeper because I had a chip come off the edge. And by sinking it a little deeper, it'll allow me to sand it down flush with the metal. So, yeah, put as long a screw as you can get away with in here. That's just all there is to it. Perfect. So, I got 2 more of these to build now. And they're not polished to finish grade yet. They will be when it gets to that point of the work. Okay, so number 3. I'm going to make a good sharp edge. I usually run these over a stone before I do each one, just to make sure. Kind of like a chainsaw. It's best to sharpen it before it goes completely dull. Yeah, makes life a lot easier. Cool. Okay. Well, like I said, we got one more here. Well, so now that's in, and this goes the other way. Turn it around. So I got all 4 of them in. They're a little scratched up because really not concerned that this is going to do anything but shoot. But this is one way of proof testing it, and I've got it in there pretty tight. I think it'll be all right. I have done it every way from like this to strapping it to a tire. Strapping it to a tire is really good because you can get the front down and the back. Anyway, I got a piece of string here. I'm testing it. This is the 300 grain loads. Let's give her a try. I usually do this before I get this far along, but here we go. Fire in a hole. Trigger's a toughie. Oh, wait, go up. Let's try it again. All right, fire in the hole. I do not see any stretch marks or anything that could warrant this being a problem. It did shoot back a ways though, and almost took the front sight off. Alright. I got one more I'm going to try. But this could be fun. Shot. Put a little oil down there. So I'm looking at this here, and this firing pin is a little bit short. Coupling that with the fact that, if you remember correctly, this one had a very light trigger spring. So one of those two things right there will fix this. But we didn't have any headspace problems. Everything is good. So either a firing pin, or I would say probably a better spring in there will do the trick. So I got her cleaned out. We're going to continue on. That's it for this episode of Coffee with Buckskin Dave. I am so happy you joined me. I hope you had a little bit of fun. Anyway, I'll see you next time. We're going to continue working here, and thanks for dropping by. Have a great day. Bye-bye.